G'day, wonderful listeners. This is episode 45 of Trev's Talk, and I'm your host, Trev. Last week, I left off telling you I had put a comment on the Balanced Narrative podcast in the hopes it might help me get contact details for a new high-profile Muslim leader named Sheikh. Well, that did not happen. But something good did happen. Colin's friend Wade did me a great service as he got in touch and gave me the Sheikh's phone number and said the Sheikh was waiting for my call. So I did call, and the Sheikh was quite receptive to giving me a meeting and was positive on the little I told him about the three faiths uniting to improve Aboriginal kids' education. The Sheikh has asked me to text him as a reminder next Wednesday morning if he had not texted me on the previous Tuesday evening with a time and venue for us to meet. So I now wait until next Wednesday for a meeting with Sheikh. Last Wednesday, when I was delivering meals to the Bellevue Christian Community Church, 30 minutes later than my usual time, due to some unusual delay at home, I got a big surprise just as I was leaving after my delivery. A lady I had recruited to work in the breakfast club at the Aboriginal school when I was coordinating 24 volunteers there, appeared around the front of my minibus. Her name is Bobbie, and it turns out that she volunteers on some days at the BCC Church and helps pack food hampers. She is a regular attendant at that church. I was struck at the time by the fact that I was 30 minutes later than my usual time delivering the meals. If I had been at my normal time, I would never have met Bobbie. When Bobbie explained her involvement with the church, I asked her if she could query John, the leader at the church, if he would like me to speak at his church, and I got a heavy dose of GBs. I thought John might be curious on why I was happy to deliver meals to his church when it was plain to see I was a Catholic from the display of Our Lady's logo on my bus. I have been giving that church meals now for a few months, and the church goers had got friendly with me and called me by name. I had been thinking of asking John about giving his congregation a talk on Medjugorje and why I did charity work with churches other than my own church. And now look at what has happened. I was presented with a person connected to the church, Bobbie, who knows me well from working with me at the Aboriginal school for many years, and who could get me a talk with a presentation of my book to John's church, the BCC. So that was last Wednesday when I met Bobbie, and today, the next Sunday, Bobbie called me and said she had spoken with John and explained her history with me and asked him whether he might like me to do a talk to his flock. Well, get this, wonderful listeners. John immediately said, yes, please, tell Trev he is needed. He can fill a gap that has come up because a speaker scheduled for next week has cancelled. Now, let's just unpack the whole Bobbie incident for a minute. She met me in unusual circumstances, which would not normally happen, except for me delivering to the BCC Church 30 minutes late. When I asked her if she could approach John for me to talk on Medjugorje, I got a heavy dose of GBs. Then when she did ask John if I could speak in his church, he said an immediate yes, because his selected speaker had cancelled and left a hole in his Sunday service. See how all these things mesh together, so I can speak at John's church, present my book, and maybe even offer some of my medj water to his flock. My medical clearance for the pilot's licence is still on appeal with the ART, or Administrative Review Tribunal, and I don't expect to hear from them for a while yet. However, if they knock me back again and I take the next step to appeal for a medical clearance, I must go to the Equal Opportunities Commission, and I believe that is the last chance I've got for winning an appeal. Just recently, my daughter Colleen informed me that her friend Wade, who helped me get a meeting with Sheikh, is a lawyer. So I'm thinking if and when the ART knock back my latest appeal, I should consider approaching Wade to help me prepare my claim of discrimination by CASA and make sure I fill out the legal forms to my best advantage. If I must go to the Equal Opportunities Commission, I must make sure my claim is the very best I can submit, as it is my last chance of getting medical clearance for becoming a private pilot. Going back to the thought-provoking occasion with Bobbie I spoke about a few minutes ago, I believe our meeting was coincidental. The GBs over her were coincidental, and she secured me a presentation of my talk to the BCC Church, making me feel the whole thing pointed towards help and promptings from the spiritual world. Another event a few days ago pointed towards spiritual promptings as well. The event concerned my plumber friend I spoke about way back in episode 15, who has the words holy water in his business name. When he was chatting to me, I got GBs, and when I told him that, he spoke up and said he got GBs as well. GBs is my word for goosebumps, remember? Anyway, the event causing me to need his help was this. I was sitting down after a good long walk about 7 a.m, and I had not adjourned to my office like I usually do, and I had not turned on the TV so that I was able to hear a soft trickle of water sound. Trickle, trickle, trickle. So I got up and walked towards the sound to find it was coming from the bathroom, and there was a lot of water all over the floor and running out of the bathroom vanity cupboard. I immediately rushed out the front of our unit and turned off the water main to stop the water running in the bathroom. My wife Alva and I mopped up the water as best we could and rang Anthony, my friend from episode 15, to ask for his help to fix the plumbing problem. He came straight away and was able to do this as he lives just around the corner from our place. When he got to our place, he told us we were very fortunate because he had planned a day off with his family and was going to be unavailable. He said he had planned to leave for his break by 6:30 a.m. I thought how lucky we were to catch him before he left. Now here is the weird part. He was wearing a black t-shirt with printing on the back that said, "It is not luck, it is God." That blew me away. Surely that was a message from the spiritual world. Anthony told me he was wearing the t-shirt for the very first time. I had been thinking how lucky I was, and then I was met with the printed words about not luck, but God. Surely Anthony and I are destined to do good work together in the future somehow. My GBs were met by his GBs in our first meeting in episode 15, and his t-shirt only worn that once, admonishing me for crediting luck instead of God in our second meeting is all too much to say the whole thing was only coincidence. I say it surely was the spiritual world reaching out to me. How beautiful is that? Maybe you have had weird things happen in your life, and you just put it down to coincidence and promptly forget it. Next time you have one of those weird but amazing coincidences happen to you, maybe it will be the spiritual world reaching out to you. Well, wonderful listeners, if you are new to these podcasts, please subscribe on YouTube or follow on Spotify and add a comment, which will help me grow in ways that I can use to get a better world. This is Trev, tuning out for this week.